Hi, I'm Allison Pryor and I teach acrylic paintings for beginners and all levels. And today I was going to answer a few questions for you, give you some tips. I asked people what are they struggling with in their paintings, and I got a lot of replies. Once I didn't even expect. And Valerie asked me, being new to painting, understanding the best tools to use, and some blending. So Valerie, all you need are a few brushes, and get the brushes that are going to be best for you to get started with. And if you're going to be painting on a canvas, then a nice synthetic brush, and that's 2-inch one, and this is a 1-inch. This is a bristle, so you need bristle brushes and synthetic brushes. Okay, so you can see the difference in the brushes. And you get probably 3 sizes of each, okay? Small, medium, and large. No sense in me giving you the size 2, size 8, because all the brands that you buy, they have different sizes on them for some reason. So that's all you need. And so these are great for doing backgrounds, all right? For smoothing out doing your blending. And you can also make sure you get synthetic brushes, nice brushes, a size 8. Like I said, they're all different sizes. But it's a synthetic and it's a chiseled edge. Other brushes you should have are your fan brushes. If you have these tools, you'll be able to paint waterfalls. Good tool to have is a palette knife. And you can have different shapes and sizes in palette knives. These are great for texture, making texture, or painting mountains. You can paint almost anything with these, even flowers. You just use the tip. But I use these for texture and for spreading out my paint and for mixing paint also. Another handy tool to have is chalk. Chalk is great for when you don't want, when you want to draw freehand on your canvas. You want to draw out a tree and put it in place. And chalk is great because you can always wipe it off with damp cloth when you're finished, or you can always wipe it off with damp cloth if you're not happy with the shape, and then you can redo it again. So chalk is, I use it a lot. So what's really handy is your painter's tape, so you can tape off areas that you don't want to get paint on, and you also want to make a horizon line, so you can use painter's tape. So that's a handy tool to have. And you need something to paint on, which is just any palette, right? Just anything that you can use for a palette. So you can use anything for a palette, a plate, paper plates. Styrofoam is probably not beneficial to the environment, so they'll probably be gone anyway soon. And so I reuse them. I paint when I make a mess on them. I'll paint over them with white again, so I don't have to throw them in the garbage. And paper towel is good to have. Paper towels for cleaning off your brushes. And you also asked about blending. So here's an example of that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get our canvas nice and slick. And we want to have it so that we can blend our paints. And I'm going to mist it with my magic white that I talked about earlier. And this way, because we don't want it to be wet for an hour. Now you can always use a hair dryer, okay? But I'm just going to mist this right now. And then we're going to start putting on our paint. Good. Now, let's take a 1-inch brush. And we will make sure your brush is damp. Just put in a bit of water and wipe it off your tissue paper. And we're going to take the top part of we're going to do different colors coming down here for the background. So I'm going to start using I'm going to put on some white first, okay, white. And I'm going to put that across here on top, okay. So white first, because now you got the magic white on, plus you're putting on white paint, and that will make it blend even better, okay. So let's just put on white paint first on the top part here. We won't worry about the bottom part yet, okay? And now into our blue. And we will put that up here and just go across like that. See? It's fine. Perfect. Perfect. So we'll just put that up there like that. Excellent. And just keep coming across until it all blends together. Good. Nice. All right. So we're going to come down about here. Look, you don't need a lot of paint now because we have the magic white there. Now, if you don't have magic white or you're not interested in magic white, just mist it with water. Clean your brush or get another brush. I'm going to try, that was the bristle brush. I'm going to try the nylon brush. I haven't used this one. So I'm just going to try it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on next some red. But I'm going to put my white on first. White on first, okay? White. And you say, why are you doing that? And I'll say, because I want to lighten up my colors and I want them to blend really nicely. All right? So now we're going to put on some reds. Just watch when you put on your red. See how nice that will go, almost pink. Isn't that pretty? All right. So, there we go. It's pretty. See? That's a nice brush. Nice nylon, 2-inch. Nice. I'm going to go back up into the blue so I can blend those two colors together right there at that line. I don't want a line there. I want those two colors to transition into each other. And I'm going to come back up and blend that out nicely. So that, all right. Just watch the tricks that you can do when you're painting. Wipe off your brush. Add some more white. Alright, that will lighten up your pink a bit, and then you can go right up into your blue. And the white will smooth it out, give you a nice smooth look. See that? Isn't that pretty? You come right down into your pink. It's okay to get some blue into your pink, it's alright. Nice, there we go. And some more white. We want these colors to be soft, pretty. I also have a question, and they're asking me about brush strokes. They're struggling with getting the proper brush strokes. Some examples. A chiseled edge brush. I'll use one of the brand new ones, okay? Because if I use an old one, it might not work as good. Let's see. Here we go. This is chiseled edge. Alright. And I'm going to dip it in water. I always like to dampen my brush. And I'm just going to pick up any paint at all. And you'll see, nice smooth lines. Okay, nice. Look at that. And if you want to make a chiseled edge, if you got to get up under something straight line, you get a nice straight line. See? You can't do that with a bristle. Right? Isn't that pretty? So that's these chiseled edge synthetic brushes. Now for a bristle brush, like I just showed you, but this is a bristle. See how the bristles are white? And then I'm going to dip in water. And I'm going to go back in with the blue, and see, it spreads really good, but you have to push a little harder. With bristle brushes, you have to push a little harder, and you can scrub, all right? But you won't get that nice line. See? You won't get that nice line, see? So bristles are mainly for tapping. Look. See the nice, I'm going to put a bit of red in with that just to show you the texture you can get with the bristle, right? Now I'm going to tap with the synthetic and you'll see the difference. Just watch. I'm going to take the blue, a little bit of red, and I'm going to tap, tap, tap. Look how soft it is. You're not getting that nice, you're not getting the texture. You can't get the texture. See? Look. Too soft. Too, can't get it, right? But if you like that type of painting, you can certainly do this, okay? I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just trying to show you, you know, what you can do. Even if you add like texture paste to it. Say we got some texture paste, and just say you want to use your synthetic brush and get some texture. So let's put some texture paste and see if that works. So, take out my synthetic, because some of you guys might not have any bristle brushes and you're trying to work with what you have, right? So, as you can see, it still looks nice, right? But the textures, I don't know. So here's some texture paste. I'm just going to put that there like that, and some blue paint and some red. Pick it all up together. See if I can get more texture. Not bad, but it's still not the same. Not the same. Not for me anyway. I have to have lots of texture when I'm doing certain things like grass and trees and things like that, right? So you can see the big difference. Now look, let's see what this big, this can blend your paints together nicely. So let's just put on some paint. I'll use my synthetic, and I'll put some blue paint here, okay? And I'll put some red paint. I'm going to clean my brush, that's okay. Right here. And I'm going to put some white paint here. And say I want to blend all that together. I'll just take this brush, make some circles, and that'll blend it all together nicely. Changes the colors, but look at the softness. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? All kinds of ways you can do things, but you have to know what to do and how to do it, right? You have to know what brushes to use. That's soften up that, okay? Nice and dirty now. All you gotta do is wash that out with soap and water, and it'll come back brand new. Because if you dip that in water now, I didn't dip that in water in the beginning. If you dip that in water, it has to be dry when you're blending. But if you dip it in water, it's going to go all weird. Look, it goes really strange. See? So don't dip it in water. Have it nice and dry when you're doing your blending, because it won't, look, it will just make a mess. All right. Now. So I have the 1-inch bristle. This is the one, and you can use the 2-inch, right? Same thing. You get the same results for flowers. I'm sorry, for grass and things. So I'm just going to, I always like to wet my brushes, except for that fluffy brush that I showed you. We call it a fluffy brush. How's that? You can call it the moth brush. You can call it whatever you want, as long as you know what it is. So just say I'm doing some, let's get some greenish color in here. Orange, green. Let's go with some green first. I'm just mixing some 3 primary colors together. Just see what I'll get. And I'm just tapping, so I'm getting this really nice bottom, and I'm just going to pull up some grass. See? And then, that's with this brush here, okay? This brush is amazing when you want to do this kind of stuff. And just say I wanted to put some flowers on top. I'm going to pick up some yellow and orange, and I'm just going to tap in some flowers on top. Now, so this makes really nice flowers, and maybe some white with some blue. You want to add some flowers here. Okay. Try to spread out your bristles so that you can get a nice opening, and when you get an opening, all the bristles are open and they'll pick up the color, and then they will spread them out for you. See? And you can even put them up higher and have these all kinds of things going on. Look at that. I mean, it's amazing, these brushes. doesn't want my name on it. And I'll just show you the synthetic brush. That won't do it. That won't do it. Just watch. But they're great. I mean, synthetic brushes are great for all kinds of things. But if you're trying to get flowers, it won't give you the nice flowers. Give you a different kind of flowers. You could try it. You know, tap, tap, tap. But you're not getting the same results as you would with this one, the Bristle. Just do it so you can see it better. Okay? Alright, so just open up your bristles, put up some color. See how to separate it more? See? Pretty. I find it's easier to work with too. So I hope now, I think that's about it. I don't know of anything else I can show you. I mean, I got all these brushes that you know. You get the liner brushes and the fan brushes and all kinds of stuff, right? So as you know, the synthetic and the synthetic, the softer one with the chiseled edge, all right? That's what you got to look for. And the Bristle with the no chiseled edge, just kind of, you know, wide and really rough and beige bristles. And that's all you have to look for, and 3 or 4 different sizes, and you're done. And same with, like I said, these brushes here are the synthetic ones, and are in a different color. I don't know how many colors they come in, but these come in this color. They're shiny. I don't think it holds the paint as well when they're really that shiny. They're like nylon brushes. Let's see. I'll wet it. I'll put some blue on there. Not bad. See, what you're looking for is if you got control. You're the one that got to have control, not your brush, right? So if you got better, if you see, it doesn't really, no, I like the other ones better. But these are okay. The liner brushes are good. Liners are good in that type. Okay, that's okay. And the flat chiseled edge ones. But for, you know, so get some brushes, synthetic and Bristle, and try them out and pick out the ones, and always have the 2 of them handy. But you have to decide what you're using. People who are struggling is they want to know about composition. Now, some people have a problem getting the composition right. Now, if you're using reference photos, then your reference photo basically has the competition for you. It has it ready, all there for you in the picture. But you might want to take that picture, and you might want to move a tree, or you might want to put a house in there, or some people, or you might want to take a house out. So the composition is great when you have a reference photo. You can also go by several reference photos. So you just pick the kind of reference photos that are kind of similar to each other, especially in the time of day and season. Because if you go from one winter one and you try to put a tree in to a summer one, it's going to be a little difficult. But you know, if it's abstract, you can have a winter tree in a summer scene. You can do whatever you want. It is painting. You can do whatever you want, okay? But if you're trying to get the composition correct, then you can use several photos and take different things from the different photos, get a piece of paper, and start drawing things and putting them in place. And if you're doing a landscape, make a little letter S. That will be your path. That will lead the eye up through your foreground, up into the things that you want to lay out in the back. So you want to lay your little house, your tree over here. You don't want a big bunch of trees on one side and nothing on the other. You want to spread it out. And you want to decide where you're going to have a little fence. You know, is the fence going to come down from the house, or is it going to go in front of the path? So that's just all to do with your composition and where you want your focal point. So if your focal point's your little house in the corner there, that's where you're going to draw the line so that it leads up. I got a question from Martha, and she wants to know, she's saying that she's struggling with having ideas, getting ideas to paint, and it is hard. It is hard to know what to paint because there's so many things out there, but it's hard to know. I think you're probably struggling with the composition basically. But an idea would be if you could think, all right, well, I want to paint a flower. And so what you can do is look up some reference photos on Pixabay, because they're all free. So if you decide to sell your painting later, at least you can have it. It's free. You don't have to worry about copyright. And you can look up flowers, and then you can get your ideas from there. You know, you really need to get your ideas from looking at other videos, looking at other paintings, looking at art books, and that will inspire you. And then you'll see something that you really like, and then that will give you an idea. It'll pop out of your head. It could be a little bumblebee in the background. That's, oh, that would be a great idea to paint a bumblebee on a flower. So got questions about shadows and tones. Shadows and tones, are you asking like where the shadows go? And tones are just the lightness and the darkness of a painting. So, like I say, people are not used to artistic, or I should say artist's language. I have a podcast on artist language, and I explain all the different things that artists talk about, and then I explain what they're talking about. So I'll leave a podcast link. So the one that my podcast people are struggling with is getting the right consistency of the paint. And the right consistency of the paint can be difficult, but it's not too bad. It's not too hard. Consistency. Well, if they come out of the tubes and are pretty thick, and they come out of the bottles and are thin. So, and then you can add water, you can add thinner, you can add blending gels, mediums, and all kinds of things to your paints to make them at the right consistency for you. So I'll give you examples of how to get the right consistency of your paints. Person struggling with even when they're finished doing the painting, they keep messing with it, and they never seem to be happy with the finished look. So they keep messing with it, and keep messing and messing can also bring you trouble, because then you can mess things up. But it's nothing wrong with going back and looking at your painting when it's finished and see what's missing. See what needs to be tidied up. See what little small details need to be done. And that's all you need to do. Just get to the point where you're painting. You feel your painting is done, but something is missing. You can paint a bumblebee on a flower like this one. So where did I get my idea from this? Actually, I went into Creative Commons on YouTube to look up to see what was there, because I'm allowed to use other people's ideas. And I saw this one. I thought this one so here. Cute. I got an idea to do this one from a Bob Ross video. Okay, so I'm always looking around to see what kind of ideas, where I can get the ideas. Okay, so these are paintings that I got ideas from other artists. I got this idea from a Patreon of mine, patron in my Patreon idea page. From a picture I saw on Pixabay, but the one on Pixabay only had one flower. So I put 3 on my canvas instead of 1. So that saved the colors that was on the Pixabay picture that I saw on, and I loved it. And I said, you know, I'm gonna put 3 in those instead of just one. So that's so I got that idea from Pixabay. So cute and easy too, you know. Like I go into Pixabay, I look up in the illustrations are kind of nice, because they simplify the picture, so it's not too complicated. So that's where I get my ideas from Pixabay. Any free pixels is also another nice one. And I'll just look at the picture. This one here, the picture, like I might look at a reference photo. It may not be exactly the same. When I seen this one, it was just it was different. They were all laid out differently, and the shape was a bit different, but I liked it. And I had to make up my own backgrounds. Okay, so because the backgrounds on Pixabay were too bright or too dark, so I used the complementary colors to get my backgrounds, which were my yellow and my mauve and purples. Go with the yellows. They're complementary to the yellows, and the blue, greens, and the complementary colors here with the oranges. They're also blues and purples, light purples. So you also, if you're doing these kind of paintings, you should look at the complementary colors. And this beautiful painting here, I just got some flowers in a vase, and I've probably seen some paintings, or so I've probably seen some pictures on Pixabay, or I might have been looking around for some, and to get an idea how to paint that glass vase. And then I threw some flowers in there. So that's, you know, so you have to look around for ideas. You look around. You can look around you and nature itself. You can look around at your backyard and paint a nice garden, flowers, you know, in your garden. So you could have that. I painted this one by request. So I don't do a lot of portraits. I find them a little long and hard to do. But I like to do them once in a while to keep me, you know, on my toes. That's a nice one there. So like I said, all my ideas come from looking around at pictures and getting ideas and putting several pictures together. So shadows and tones, the sample is here. You got this landscape and the shadows, you can see there's a shadow from the bridge, right? And most of the time the shadow is got like a purple look. It's like a red and blue mixed together to make it purple. I find purple shadows are really nice, and that's what I use most of the time. Sometimes if I'm doing green grass and I want to put a shadow on the grass, I might mix my green that I'm using, and then I'll add purple to it to darken it up, and that'll give it a purplish green color, which will match your grass. And if you want to see through the shadow, you just water it down so that it's transparent, and then you can put the shadow on, but yet you can see through it. But if you got a deep shadow and darkness, then like down here, see how it got dark down at the bottoms here? That's the shadows, right? From the sun is shining in the back, but then it got shadowy up here in the front. And so you got all the shadows and the tones of the different lights and darks. There's a lighter tone in the background, and then as it comes forward, there's a darker tone. All right? So here's an example of contrast in your paintings. Contrast is just the lights against the darks. And so as you can see, you got a light background and a dark glass of wine. So the dark against the light really makes it pop. If these colors were similar to each other, it wouldn't pop. So the contrast, the lights against darks, really make things pop. Here's another really good example of contrast. As you can see, look at the light against the dark. See? See the dark right here, the dark trees. And they're against the light of the sky. And all the dark down here against the light. They're next to each other. See? All these darks are next to the lights. And that really makes everything pop. Pretty. It's a good example of contrast. So an example of depth and detail, I just took out a couple of paintings here I think would be better to show you. And as you can see in this painting, you can see it goes back with the hills back here, and it makes this hill stand out more by having a lighter hill behind it, so that creates depth. And then as you come forward, these palm trees and the rocks, these are closer to you. So you put more detail into your palm trees and your rocks because they are closer to you. The more detail you have, the closer they are to you, the more detail you have, and that then creates that these mountains are far away. It creates depth. Okay? And also, this one here, you can see a lot of detail in this. Take your time and you put lots of detail, which are your leaves and your trunks, your trees, and the water, and you put all kinds of little waterfalls. That's all details, right? All the details, and then that creates a beautiful painting because you have a lot of details for people to look at. All the rocks and flowers. So these are all details. These are you all can also have very small details at the end. There's a lot of detail going on here, as you can see. You ever look at a painting, there's a lot of detail in that painting. And so that's a good example of detail. And this one here don't have a lot of detail, so I'll just show you the difference. It don't have a lot of detail. You can see the difference, but it does have depth. That's why I took these two out. Well, thank you for watching my video today. I just want to say thank you all for all your support through my Patreon page, and just for watching my videos. I'm really happy that I could do this for you, and I get a lot of nice compliments. So I am so happy that you watched that video, and if you have any questions about what you saw in the video, just leave your comments below and I'll answer them as soon as I can for you. And we will do some more videos coming up.